Ruby Rose, Isabella, good to see you both. Welcome to Popternative.
You
Thank
too.
Well,
you.
Thank
Isabella,
you.
welcome back to Popternative. I feel like I
I
gotta get you
know.
like a mug or like a t-shirt, like you're a like three-time guest.
Yeah, I need some merch.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruby Rose, I wanted to kind of ask you because that script to screen journey is always interesting to me. And you see this kind of big ensemble cast, you know what I mean? Like high school coming of age with Almost Popular, right? What's that like kind of reading and seeing all those characters, then heading to production and see it like all come to life? Because I find that really interesting.
Oh my God. I find it super interesting too. And it makes me so excited to just like get into the filming process of everything. And I swear to God, the second that I read the script, I fell in love with it. Pamela is an incredible writer. And yeah, I also love that every character, obviously, it's like a classic teen coming of age comedy,
Yep.
heartthrob sort of vibe. But I love that every character was like a dramatized version of themselves.
Yeah.
And that shows in the personalities, in the styles, in their home life. Like I was just so obsessed, and obviously the whole cast was great, and we all had so much fun filming. It was like a little summer camp. Yeah, it was the best time.
Absolutely. And Isabella, it's interesting, right? Because you have worked on these kind of coming of age, like slice of life kind of projects. But I feel like what's really cool is like this character is very like kind of different than like past characters you've played as well. And I'm wondering if like that's something that just kind of happens, right? Like you hope for that to happen, but like you have been able to play a lot of these different characters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm so blessed to have been able to play so many different kinds of roles. But this one, it felt special because is kind of similar to me in a lot of ways. So it's not necessarily that I had to like prep too much to become her, but like Ruby was saying, like every single character in this movie is just dramatized. So
Yeah.
like even playing with fashion and hair and makeup, that really creates a character. And so being able to like play with these crazy styles was such a fun time.
Well, it's funny you mentioned. I want to kind of ask you both this. Ruby Rose, I'll start with you, and then once you like Isabella, when she's done, you can like chime in afterwards. But like, I'm wondering because there are a lot of like in this film because I watched it and I had a great time, and there's goofy moments and there's that slapstick kind of like high school comedy, right, that we all love.
For sure.
But there is that like kind of like wow, like this is real, this is hit hard. These characters are really lost trying to figure it out, right? There's this whole thing about like, oh my god, they buy fake followers, but it's just like they're lost. Like there is a serious kind of undertone there too. Is it
Yeah.
more fun or challenging to play like lost characters or characters like doing self-reflection? Because from the viewer, like they don't know they're lost, which I find interesting.
Ooh, that's such a good point. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously playing Susie, I know that she's lost, but then like being her is such a different thing. And um, luckily, I think I have a better grip on knowing that like the world won't end if like everybody thinks I'm the coolest person ever on Instagram that day. But for Susie, that's a very different story because she lacks or is lacking, self love like so deeply, obviously.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think like it's sad to play, but it's fun because it's real and
Yeah.
honest. And also like I relate. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Isabella, do you want to kind of add to that a little bit? It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, as Ruby said, obviously we know where they're at, where they
Yeah.
stand, where their their story goes, but they don't know that. So playing this character, I think I just had to remember like she's in a place where she's so comfortable where she's at.
Yep.
In the beginning of the film at least, she has been friends with this girl for so long, and she feels like she knows her better than anybody else, even past the persona that she puts on. Obviously, she sees what goes on and like, her life outside of school and stuff. So it's really about just like branching out and stuff. And I'm glad that my character was able to like do that slowly throughout the film, and she wouldn't have been able to do that without Susie and Bobbie. So I wouldn't say that it was necessarily like hard to portray because it kind of just flows, but it was just interesting. It was different.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
absolutely. And Ruby Rose, it's all storytelling at the end of the day. Like Isabella, you have played different characters before in like these different worlds. And I'm wondering how separate are past projects for you compared to something like Almost Popular. Like, do you bring mindsets or preparations from your time in the Descendants world to something like this, even though they're different, but it's all storytelling, or they're completely separate once you wrap them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you take like all the like experience in your back pocket and like all of the like like nerdy set terms.
I
Like
mean,
in
you're
that
bringing
case,
yourself, right? It's like you going to the project, right? So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know. In terms of getting into character, it was kind of just like stripping everything away. Like obviously, I'm here today. I'm like my best version of myself, but in order to play Susie, it was literally just like showing up on set how I was and leaving the exact same way. So in that case, it was like obviously different than what I am used to experiencing. Like obviously on Descendants, I'm this like pink bubbly pink wig, like I'm literally a rhinestone in your face, and so like Susie is the polar opposite of that. And yeah, I also think just like Susie's personality is like who I am and probably a lot of people like on the inside. And so really all it took was just like a constant daily effort to like unlock that side of myself.
Absolutely. And then Isabella's breaking hearts after people sing for her in a gymnasium on Netflix.
I know.
I guess so.
Day, it was so funny as well because when we did that interview, we couldn't really talk much about it because it like just came out. But it's like that was my favorite thing ever.
Mine too, honestly. It was so fun. Oh my god, it was a good time. I miss it.
Absolutely. And Ruby Rose, we're big Descendants fans on Popternative as well. There's a lot of ties too, because I'm also a filmmaker and I made a short horror film called Adjoining that got onto a lot of really cool festivals last year. And Brenna D'Amico from the Descendants franchise is in my film, which is really, really exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's like Descendants. That world is never going, like that world's always going to be around, Ruby Rose. And I'm sure it's the best thing for you, right? It's always going to be, there's a new one coming out. Like it's crazy.
It's so special, especially like being a fan of Descendants. I was so young when they originally came out. And so, yeah, I've loved to see the evolution of that whole franchise and so forever giddy and grateful that I was a part of it, even if it's in a small way. Like I always hold Bridget so close to my heart. And that was such a magical experience.
Absolutely, the TikTok. But it's funny, you're both on projects that like took over TikTok, like the Descendants Rise of Red, and also Isabella. I'm sure you know, but like Incoming, like that was like insane. Yeah. Like the For You feeds was like both those movies when they came out. Like you couldn't escape that.
Yeah, it was kind of insane. I had to like take a little break from TikTok for a day or two because it was just like it's so weird. I mean, I feel like all of us actors feel this way. Sometimes watching ourselves is a little strange.
Yeah.
So like when I see like thirst trap edits on my For You page of myself, I'm like, this is strange. It's never gonna feel normal.
Wait, also, and like I am a fangirl. Like I grew up as the fangirl. And so then to like see an edit, I'm like, wait, that's the wrong person. Like I don't want to see that. And it's like myself. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, this is not correct.
No, for sure. That's a whole world. They could have like a podcast series about that world. You know what I mean? Before we wrap up, I have one more question for both of you about Almost Popular. I do want to know, Isabella, more about like working with this big cast. Obviously, there's some people that you're going to work with more than others, but like was a massive cast. You did like there was some BTS that came out where you're all sitting in like your cast chairs and like I'm like, oh my god, there's so many cast members.
Oh my goodness. There were so many people, but it was absolutely wonderful because everyone was a joy, genuinely. I mean, as an actor, you go on projects, you never know who you're going to be working with. And especially with the big cast, I will say that felt a little overwhelming at first. I was nervous because there's so many different personalities. And obviously, we're not always all working at the same time, but we did all spend a lot of time together. And everyone was just so on it every single time. And that makes it so much easier to get through, especially with a film like this where we don't have a lot of time to film. So everyone just showing up and doing what they need to do, but also we could have fun. And I say this all the time, but it felt like a big summer camp, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like it's so funny you mentioned summer camp because Ruby Rose, it's interesting because, and I want you to kind of, there's a question here as well, but it's like the life of an actor is almost like summer camp because you go and you work on this thing and you're with the same people all the time and everything, the schedules, you have breakfast and lunch, or you hang out on off days, and then like you wrap, and then it's like camp's done for the summer, and then there's a chance that you like might never like see these people for a long time ever again because they're all on other journeys. Like, did it feel like that with this one too?
Yeah, it's a really like, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been acting since I was 7. I'm gonna be 20 next month. So
the Coop and Cammy edits are on TikTok all the time too. You're never gonna escape those.
Yeah, but hey, even with that, like that's a great example. Like, that show was so important to me. And I remember being on set one day, it was a Friday, we were filming, and we were supposed to go on hiatus for 2 weeks. Obviously, COVID, such a thing that happened. And I left set that Friday, and that was 5 years ago. And I've maybe seen 2 people from that set since then. So it's definitely like, it's really, and I remember that was a huge moment for me, which really taught me like, okay, this is a sweet and sour spot of this like beautiful, unique industry position that I've been put in, where it's like, yes, you spend such intense, compact, short period of time with these people. And then, it gets to a certain point where it's like we wrap and like that chapter closes, but it stays in this sweet, special spot in history and in your brain. And it's on, I can always go back and watch this movie and put myself right back in that position. But also, with that being said, you do meet those special ones. Like Bella was a special one for me, where like I'm also not that kind of friend that is like, like I can kind of be distant. And Bella and I have like such a special relationship where like we don't talk every day and like maybe text every few months, but we had like a dinner like maybe 2 months ago where we sat down for like 3 hours and like just recapped. And like it just feels like I'm just so grateful to always go right back to like summer 2023 with her. And like it's a bittersweet part, but it's also like what makes it so special in the moment. And that is just kind of like never ending for me.
I also feel like, Isabella, to kind of add to that too, super quick, it's also like depending on like what the subject matter is of what you're rapping to, that could also be like a lot more intense too. Like I feel like some seasons of like I'm assuming like a lot of like Love Victor was like shot in sequence, but like a lot of those seasons kind of ended with like oh my god, you know what I mean?
What's going on? So much going on. Yeah. I mean, I think it is just so important when you do find those special people on sets, especially for something like that, like a show where you never know how it's gonna end. And just holding on to them, as Ruby said, like I think those types of friendships are the healthiest, where you don't have to talk every day, but when you guys do, you connect and it's like nothing ever changed, because life gets busy, especially like as an actor, you never know where you're gonna be. You can be in like Canada one day, like Utah the next or something. Like it's so hard to keep relationships, but knowing that you have people and you connected with somebody on a project, and they become like such a important part of your life, it's just good to have. It's a very nice friendship to have.
And when you're on set, like I've learned this recently because like I did a lot of remote producing, but I was on set for some features recently. Like when you're on set, like you're on set, like that's life.
That's your life.
Like,
totally.
You know what I mean? Like there's no time for anything. Like I couldn't do any interviews or anything. Like I'm doing both. But I can't wait for people to see Almost Popular. Both of you are so good in this. Congratulations. The Instagram account for this movie is amazing. There's so much BTS content, so they also need to check that out. They're going to be able to kind of the film as well. Isabella, Ruby Rose, so great chatting with you both. Good to see you both, and thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
so much. It was so good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.